Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the weekend update. Let's jump right in. We're looking at the Dow 1 hour chart. Now, despite all the news that we had last week, we did indeed, like we talked about in last weekend's video, the Dow was able to break and slowly trend higher during the week. Now, despite there being no stimulus bill, it looks like they're not even close, even though every other hour we've got a deal, no deal headline hitting from unnamed sources, probably who are trading the market up and down. That's a whole nother story. Thursday night, president has come down with COVID, as have many other top Republicans. So expectations were the market would implode. But of course, that is not what happened. And we were barely down 100 points. So no stimulus deal. The president's now sick with COVID and the market has barely budged. What do you do in a tape like that? Very, very difficult to say. That is why we are high cash. When the rug gets pulled, it will be brutal and it will be fast. And part of the reason for that is the kind of action that we saw this past week, because traders, and especially pandemic gurus who think the market trades like it has this entire year, will be buying the dip. And when that dip becomes a bigger dip and a bigger dip and a bigger dip, you're going to see the kind of panic that you saw in the small cap stocks in August hit the large cap stocks whenever that does happen. But, you know, it's a neutral market right now. This is a market where you have to be careful with longs, but you also have to be careful with shorts, because if Trump tweets tomorrow that he is fine and dandy, even though the market barely sold off on Friday 134 points, market will be up 500 points on that news. If we get a stimulus deal, market will be up 500 points on that news. So it's one of these markets where we just trade the intraday action. That's why I'm currently sitting 90% plus cash in the swing, with an eye on only focusing on 1 to 2 day trades, whatever the hot sector is. And when you have markets like that, as we have had in the last couple of weeks, you can make a lot of money really, really quickly when you get that hot sector or hot stock or two. You just got to be prepared to run out the door when that momentum fades. This is probably going to be the stance into the election. This is going to be a fugly election. Who knows what other news is going to be coming there on the horizon. So we sleep at night, we stay high cash, and we trade whatever the momentum is. Now we're going to look over here. Here is the Dow daily chart. So you can see right here, 28K. Now we did get a positive MACD cross on Friday, and stochastics are still trending up. But there's just a weird feel to this market, a negative bias. Of course, we get any sort of positive news on the stimulus or president's condition, you know, this downtrend line is going to bust out. Tech stocks, despite the big move in large caps, you know, being able to hold up on Friday, tech stocks remain very, very weak. And that's despite the fact that that options whale is out there manipulating the market, buying those call options. We have a negative vibe to this market. I mean, look at these big, this is the volume bars right here. Over the last 3 to 4 weeks, just every selling day, major distribution on the large cap techs. What's distribution? Distribution is the large funds selling to the small guys before they pull the rug out. If we look at the Dow chart, you can see similar thing. With the big red days are really, really big. We don't see any corresponding big green days. Now, haven't talked about this much this year. This is the VIX. You'll hear a lot of chatter about this on with the talking heads on TV. VIX is in an uptrend. This is kind of worrisome given the time of the year and how contentious this election is going to be. It continues to just slowly move higher. I've seen this happen in election years many times before, and then out of the blue we're looking at a 30s to 40s VIX spike and a big sell-off in stocks. So again, that's the reason for the caution when it comes to the swings, why there's an emphasis just right now on, you know, intraday 1 or 2 day plays, and those swings are small position size. Nothing like what we have been doing early in the year. We're just biding our time for when that fantastic market comes back, and we've got a lot of beaten up small stocks. The small stocks should do very well next year. I think 2021 is going to make what we saw earlier this year just pale in comparison, just because the small cap stocks are the US economy, and you know, we should roar back next year. But anyway, let's jump into some stock plays. Actually, we're going to look here. This is the daily chart for ADMP. What I want to point out here is whenever we have this kind of candle every single day. The next day tends to be up. Now, it was very, very surprising. Well, nothing surprising in this market right now that we did not see the COVID stocks actually blowing up on Friday with news from the president. See if there's a delayed reaction on these on Monday. But again, these are just small swing plays as we wait for the news that we know is coming. ARPO, this remains one of my favorite plays. It continues to act like they've got big news coming. The amount of trials these guys have underway, phase 2, etc. trials with big partners, any sort of positive news from these trials and these guys get bought out. That's my view on it based on the valuations we see on some of these other small COVID plays like VXRT, etc. These guys have the potential to do the same. Now, one thing I wanted to point out here, this is the weekly chart for ARPO. It is just coiled nicely here under this 175 area, but just check out what happened to this stock last November and December. This stock tripled. So we have this kind of potential if the COVID trial news that is coming is as good as we hope it is. New swing play this week, AUTO. Fantastic looking chart. Online auto sales continue to boom. Breakout here. It's tried to do it over the last couple of days, but it hasn't really had that big volume move. You'll probably see all the scanner guys come chasing into this one over 350, but this chart looks like it wants to move to 4. We've got RSI waiting for an excuse to run. We've got MACD building for a cross, and we've got stochastics moving up. So this is a really nice setup here. Where would you have your stops on this one? The 50 days at 295, but as we've seen on a lot of these charts, when you see these kind of straight moving average support levels, the robots tend to dip them below it and then rocket it the next day. So I'd be okay probably holding this one to 281. You know, if it got down there, depending on how it got down there, fast or slow, I'd be inclined to add versus running out the door just because this chart looks really, really nice right now. CHFS gave us a huge move on Thursday ahead of its presentation this weekend. It gave it back on Friday. Now, they were presenting Saturday and Sunday. Let's not hold our breath because these guys, remember, their IR department got their degree through the mail or something. So we're hoping these guys drop a press release. If they're smart enough, and they do, we've got these moving averages up here in the upper 40s, 50-cent area for a nice potential pop come Monday. DXLG. A lot of positive things going for this stock, but you're hearing a lot of chatter right now about Amazon and its Amazon Prime Day. These guys are an Amazon essential close guy. These kinds of stocks do very, very well this year or this time of the year. Stocks sitting underneath its 50-day moving average, close over 30 cents, maybe 35 cents they start chasing. The chart just looks good for a move. And as we've seen when we played this one before, when this one moves on volume or a good press push, it goes big. So this is a nice little swing we have going on right now. GHSI. This is one we jumped into on Friday. You know, we've been looking at another beat up chart. Immune support, biotech, you know, this was another play on the COVID. They should have done much better on Friday. Let's see if the continuation, if, you know, the intuition comes and traders start playing some of these COVID stocks again based on all the news flow we're seeing out there. LMNL, a little higher price stock than we normally play, but why not play the leader? If Trump or someone tweets about plasma therapy, this is the stock. As you've seen during July and August, this stock just went crazy when that got mentioned by the president. The chart looks beautiful here. We've got fantastic support at the 200-day moving average, a break over 13, and we're looking at some nice upside. Small downside, big upside. Again, it's a news play. This is not one you play large because we're hoping that we get some sort of tweet or something on them. Quick mention on INUV. We're just in a holding pattern here on this one. You can see here on the chart, needs to get above 40. But probably 45 is where everyone's really going to like this one again. So I'm content to sit on this one in a small swing position while we wait on this. OGEN, another COVID play, another nice bottom on this one. You know, we have to be a little bit patient on these, but even though we're being patient, we don't need to hold a large position. I would add to this one if it was able to break above 70 cents. PHUN is finally breaking out, that this stock is still down here with everything they do, contact tracing, election, it's an election play for voter engagement. It just hasn't gotten the massive volume move like it did earlier in the year. It is trying to break over that 200-day moving average. So let's see what this week, we're 3 weeks away from the election. It might be time for this one to start waking up. RSI is breaking 50. Stochastics look good. The next few days could finally be when the volume guys come for this stock. Now, the last stock I'm going to mention, everyone by now is familiar with these SPACs, these special acquisition stocks that trade at $10. They go in and they buy other companies. PIC is very, very interesting to me, which is why I picked up a swing position on this one. These guys actually make money and have sales, unlike most of these other SPACs like Nikolai that's got stuff coming in a couple of years. Nice bottomed chart. Now, the reason this one looks so good, if we look at, this is the daily chart. These stocks have a $10 floor on them, which makes them really, really attractive, especially when they're trading in the $10 to $11 range. We've got 10% downside with potential of 40+% upside. These tend to spike after the initial news, then they come down, and then they run again. You can see or look at similar charts of Nikolai, SPAQ, etc., and some of those other ones. Shill was another one as well. They trade the exact same way. This is a nice swing pickup here with minimal downside based on the floor these things have, and very nice upside. A good place to park a little of our swing money on a hot sector. So that's it for the video, guys. Please like it, please share it, and if you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And that's it for the video. I will see you all in the chat room tomorrow. Bye.